Hello, UFL fans. We have 2 games to go in this weekend, but you may be hard-pressed to find a better game than one we had today between the Michigan Panthers and the Arlington Renegades. You can make the case it might be the game of the year. The other one that comes to my mind is obviously the Michigan Panther and St. Louis game, which had 5-6 different lead changes. But this one is right up there with it because as we get closer to the end of the season, things begin to matter more. Anyway, the Michigan Panthers win this one at the buzzer, 25-24 over the Arlington Renegades. The Michigan Panthers improved to 5-2. They're currently half a game ahead of the the Birmingham Stallions, and the Renegades fall to 3-4. I'm telling you, if the Renegades miss the playoffs this year, they will go back and look at these losses and say, oh my goodness, we were literally 3 plays away from the playoffs. 1 play in each game. Of course, the big play in this game, in that game-winning drive for the Panthers, was the 15-yard face mask penalty, which extended the drive and put him in game position to at least tie the game and then eventually win it on the 1-point conversion attempt. But you can easily say the Arlington Renegades could have been, right now, 5-2 themselves or even 6-1. That's the difference between their wins and losses. But what a game. I mean, total yards, dead even. 336 to 331 in favor of Arlington. Luis Perez dominated, had a great game. His best game of the year, 314 yards passing. Perkins, 231 yards. Michigan did have the advantage on the ground game, which eventually ended up being the big difference at the very end in that game-winning drive. Penalties were pretty much even. First downs almost even. Third down conversions were almost even. Total plays 6-52 in favor of Arlington. Arlington did have the ball for about 8 more minutes than the Michigan Panthers, but I say Arlington's going to look back at the season if they don't make the playoffs and say, we shot ourselves in the foot. And of course, Tua had the game-winning touchdown and eventually had the game-winning 1-point extra try. They win 25-24. And what a game this was. Oh, what a game this was. Of course, Luis Perez had another great day. 25-34, 314 yards, 2 touchdowns, and a 121.4 rating. Bryce Perkins, not the type of day he's been accustomed to the last week. 15-20 for 231 yards, a touchdown, but he did also have 60 yards rushing. I mean, that's the big difference between him and Denny Antley and last year's E.J. Perry. You want to know what a difference a quarterback makes? If they had Bryce Perkins last year, they could have beaten Birmingham. But between Perry and Antley last year, there was nothing to lose sleep over if you're a defensive coordinator. If you're playing a game against Bryce Perkins, you have a lot to think about. It's just the way it is. But let's see, Tyler Vaughns had a big day. 127 yards, 1 touchdown, 9 catches. Sal Cannella continues to be solid. 6 catches, 92 yards and a touchdown. And they finally scored 2 touchdowns today. I mean, they'd begun, 25 straight drives without scoring a touchdown. It was pretty ugly for them. But we have 2 games left now for this weekend. Tomorrow is a very interesting game. Tomorrow we're going to find out how real the Houston Roughnecks are when they go into Birmingham. And I'm going to tell you right now, I'm rooting for Houston. And if you're a football fan and you want chaos, playoff chaos, you're rooting for Houston also. At this time last year, we pretty much had a Final Four set. Right now, we still have the potential. We have 6 teams that are going to be in it next week for Week 8. Possibly 7, depending what happens with the Memphis-St. Louis game tomorrow. As San Antonio begins to go on life support. But tomorrow, we'll find out what the Roughnecks are made of. The Stallions, I know Skip Holtz says he thought he had a better team this year than last year. Right now, it's not looking like that at all. In fact, it isn't like that at all. The Houston Roughnecks, let's face it, and I was guilty of this for a long time. I wanted to hang C.J. Johnson. I wanted him out of there last year. But right now, I tell you what, if he pulls this off tomorrow, if he can pull this one off tomorrow and tie the Stallions for second place in that second playoff spot in the USFL Championship, weeks 8, 9, and 10 just became that much more exciting, and that's what I'm pulling for. Same reason why I'm rooting for Memphis tomorrow. Yes, I know my DC Defenders are in first place, and I held a tiebreaker, but there has to be a competition for that second spot in the XFL final if you're a football fan. And for the sake of the Memphis franchise, you want a third team, at least mathematically, in it. This is good for the league, and this is what the league needs. But man, if you saw the game today, and listen, I missed part of the Knick game, which happened to be a good thing, to watch the rest of this game, and I'm glad I did. I am glad I did. So, what's your opinion? Put your comments down below. Was this the game of the year? Was the Michigan-St. Louis game still better in your opinion? Was the overtime game better in your opinion? Who are you rooting for tomorrow? Are you rooting for Houston? I'm sure a lot of people are sick of the Birmingham Stallions. I mean, I'm not. I mean, I think they're great for the league. But competition's even better. And we need competition in this league. And we're getting it this year. We're getting a lot of parity this year. So, XFL fans, for the love of football, enjoy the game tomorrow. Both games tomorrow. We'll talk to you later.